I printed this background with oil paint and acrylics together, and today you can see me work it out into this. Stay tuned. I am sorry for skipping last week's video, but I had to take care of some private stuff and needed time for that. I have printed all these backgrounds with oil paints recently on their own and also mixed with acrylics, water and alcohol. And here's the link to part 1 if you missed that. I worked some of them out in the second part, but I do have to say I just can't film, edit and dub so many art pieces once a week. I think I need to take more time for each, and that means that I will probably always have a second part to the session. And in this case, this is already the third part of my experiments with oil, and I will likely make a fourth part even. So today I'm going to work out this one only. For today's piece, I'll show you the printing sped up again, as it was really quite complex. So I used the residue of the oil paint on the cling film from a previous print, pressing it on a plexi piece which also had printing residue on it. This is all oil paint. I then picked up this effect with a 200 GSM Bristol paper, and it was rather light and not ready for a workout, so I thought I'd print some more on it. On the gel plate there was also a leftover from another print which looked nice, so I picked that up too, using a fluid acrylic paint in blue. I sprayed on some more water drops. I recommend to use a spray bottle with an adjustable nozzle. It can spread the water droplets more randomly and therefore look more naturally. I'm turning the gel plate around and print from above to be able to register it better with the first print. And now look at that. All the mixing of residue paint, both from oil paint and acrylics, resulted in this wonderful landscape sphere. The water drops left out some paint and gives it a very special universe-like depth. First I thought I'd make another spacescape, like a couple of videos ago, but then I accidentally stumbled over a Matisse painting that really is a collage, and I wanted to turn it into something similar. Also, I like the stone effects of the previous two so much, and this one also had all the best prerequisite, I looked that word up, for stony structures. I printed out the Matisse collage in black and white, and I'm putting a transparent trace paper over it. And I'm going to make a stencil out of this. I'm tracing the outlines of the shapes, and I'm purposely using a white pen for this, a white liner, which is very large, broad, because I just might change the outlines a little bit. You'll see that in a minute. So I can already put that tracing paper over the background and see where I want to place it. I'm choosing a lighter part for the head. Now I'm cutting this out, and I'm going like somewhere in the middle of these lines, because I want to make the spaces between the limbs, so to speak, a little larger than in the original. And I'm using the stencil only for the sole purpose of transferring these outlines. I could have drawn it by hand, really, but the problem with the oil paint is that it's not really drying so well on that paper. I probably should have taken a special paper for oil, but I didn't. And so, like if I draw an outline and I want to correct it and erase, the eraser is going to take a lot of the oil paint away and really ruin it. So the lines I'm making now, I am hardly changing at all or very carefully. Also, you have to be careful with what you tape this down with. And I'm using a medical tape, which I really recommend. It's by 3M, and it's really, really nice because it doesn't harm the surface of the paper at all. In the original, you can see that there is a light gray background as a frame inside the frame, from which the feet, knee, and elbow protrude a little. So I'm cutting this in a copy print to transfer those outlines too. And I still don't know exactly what I'm going to do, but first I'm just going to start making sort of a light layer with a white pencil and using that as the frame and the frame as a background. That's before I start working on the shapes themselves. I'm using a pencil because, you can also do this with acrylic paint, but as there's partly oil paint, also the acrylic paint would probably resist in some areas. Could be interesting, but maybe not. And I love the pencils because I just have so much control over them. And so I can exactly see how dark the layer is, or light in this case. And here you can see me using our white stripe to because I want to try how it would look if the outer frame would be white opaque. But I can't really say before I have designed the inside. And later I'm going to decide that I'm not going to use that. So I'm going to speed this up a lot because it just took me forever. But the thing is, I fall into this kind of trance when I do this. It's like a meditation game, and yeah, it relaxes me. And I really like it, the way I've done this layer with the white. I'm correcting here and there where I don't like the shape of the limbs. It's crazy. Somehow I don't want to cover this all because I just like every piece of this image, of this background, and I don't want to lose the interesting depth it has. But for the sake of this piece of art, I have to. And that's how you have to be brave when you do art. You have to be able to destroy something you made before and you liked to develop your art further. Checking with the white paper stripe again, and thinning it. Oh my god, sorry for my bad English. Yeah, because I want to have like a small outline. But as I said, the opaque part I'm not going to use. You see here the different effect you have on the outside. It's a little different than on the inside. And I like it so much, I don't want to lose it. So much for bravery that I have. And now I'm coming in with the colored pencils. I'm basically using Prussian blue, and a little later I'm also using the dark blue. Can't remember what the name of the blue is. Indigo. So, and a little white and a little black. And I'm just like, as if it were a stone, I'm giving it shadows As usual, my light is coming from the top left, so I have to make the shadows of the little parts to the right below, if you know what I mean. And it gets a very physical look by that. And yeah, here I'm coming in with the indigo, and I'm sort of, you know, these are very rough stones, and as soon as you do this, they come alive. It's amazing, and it's really a simple trick. You just have to put the shadows in the right place and the highlights, and that's it. And that's why this background was so made for becoming a stony thing, because of all these little details and all these rough little white spots and so on. And they only exist because of the water droplets, and also the acrylic paint resisting with the oil paint through several printing processes. And yeah, that's how it got it interesting. So I will not recommend the oil paint, although I'm doing something with it here and I really like it. But to work on it later, is sometimes you go there with a pencil and you can see that you move the oil paint still on this paper. I should have used oil paper, really, that is especially for oil paint, but I didn't. And I like the mixing of the acrylics and the oil paint, but I like the acrylics with the etching inks mixed a lot better, as the etching ink really sinks into the paper and it's better to work it out. So other than the shapes, turning them into stone, I'm just giving the frame a little shadow on the right side and on the downside. And yeah, it's finished already. And it really wasn't that much work except for the light white layer. How do you like it? I still have all these other backgrounds. And so there is a fourth part, at least a fourth part coming, and where I'm showing you how I work these out. And as I've said, I'm probably only going to cover one or two of them, because then at some point I have to move on. But tell me how you like the oil experiments, or maybe you have an inspiration that you try it yourself. And see you next week. Bye.